Good evening, children. Welcome back to Swayam Learning Point. Okay, today we are going to continue with the previous chapter of history. Right? Before that, a quick recap of what we have studied. So, you're starting with the notable scholars, which we have done in the previous session. Okay, that was Rene Descartes. Okay, he was the first scholar, European scholar. And his theory was that you need to verify the reliability of historical documents. That means you have to examine whether it is the real one, it's not a fake one, and then you arrive at a conclusion. Second was Voltaire. Okay, his theory was completely opposite or completely different from that of Rene Descartes. According to Voltaire, when you are taking into writing about historiography about a person, you're going to narrate something about a person, you just can't rely completely on the historical documents. You need to get deep into it, right? Like knowing the historical facts, the social tradition, the agriculture, the trade, मतलब सारे फैक्टर्स कंसिडर करने के बाद आप उस बंदे के बारे में you can say it or define it in the form of historiography. So both the views of both that is Rene Descartes and Voltaire are completely different. So why is it so? हम जब एक मूवी देखने जाते हैं, हम मूवी देख लेते हैं एंड बाहर आने के बाद सब अपने अपने व्यू पॉइंट देते हैं, राइट? किसी को कुछ अच्छा लगा, कोई बोलता ऐसा नहीं ऐसा होना चाहिए, राइट? एक सिंपल से मूवी देखने जाओ तो हमारे पास इतने सारे ओपिनियंस एंड व्यूज आते हैं. ये तो स्कॉलर्स की बात है, ऑब्वियसली डिफरेंस तो होगा ही. ओके, नाउ वी मूव अहेड. जॉर्ज विलियम फ्रेडरिक Hegel, that is the third scholar. Year 1770 to 1831. He was a German philosopher. Okay, Banda was totally from German. He also devised his own theory. Okay, his own theory. Let's see what his theory specifies. He says history is reality. Okay, history में जितने events होते हैं, it's not out of the world. It has really taken place. And in reality, everything should be in a logical manner. Okay, there should be a logic. Okay, there should be some logic. It cannot be vague. Second thing he insisted is that the historical events should always be in the form of a timeline. It cannot be in the form of a graph. It cannot be in the form of a web diagram. He completely believes that historical events should be in the form of a timeline because it is a sign of progress. ठीक है, मतलब पास्ट में इंसान कैसा था, अब कैसा है. So it's basically it should be shown in the form of timeline. The presentation of history is bound to change. Absolutely, very true. The presentation of history will change. In every time it goes on changing, it will change place because everybody's way of explaining the theory will be completely different, and down the line there will be change. Somebody will give it in a graphical style, somebody in the form of a web diagram, so it is bound to change. So you cannot say that the presentation of history will be in a particular format. It is going to change. Scholars were convinced, okay, prior to that people believed that when you have a subject science and history together, most of the time science was had much more superior place than that of history. And people always believed that the methods, the lesser quality, the methods used by historians was of less quality as compared to that of science. And all those scholars right from Rene Descartes to all the European scholars, they convinced that historical method and scientific method, if I keep both the methods together, both are equally important. You cannot have science method as a superior at a superior level and the history method at an inferior level. Okay, he wrote a book called Encyclopedia Philosophical Science and Reason in History. So whatever theory he has professed, उस बंदे ने जितनी theory बताई है क्या है, everything he has put in his book. Okay, So this person, again a quick recap, what did he say? He believed that history is reality. It is not something out of a movie. It's something which has really taken place in reality. It should be in a logical manner. Okay, there should be a sequence of events. The historical events cannot be depicted in the form of a diagram, in the form of a web diagram, in the form of a table. He always believed that it should always be in the form of a timeline. Presentation of history will change down the time. Maybe it may come in a different format, right? And the scholars proved to the world that the historical methods of which is used in the field of history and science are equal importance. You cannot categorize them that science will have a superior place and the research methods of history will have inferior place. This person had used a concept called as dialectics. Okay, what do you mean by dialectics? Okay, grasping the meaning of any event. Any event happens, there are two opposites. Either it's for the best or it's for the worst. Now he specifically clarified that human mind cannot understand the nature. Like you take an example, we have in our head going two things, okay? Sometimes you agree, one part of the head says, chalo chalo kar lete, दूसरा बोलता है नहीं करना है, right? क्या होता है दिमाग में? Opposite. That is, one will agree, one will disagree. Many a time the head is not able to make the right decision. Example, you feel like today you don't want to attend a class, you bunk the class. घर से निकलते हो, class नहीं पहुँचते हो, okay? The other head mind says, no, don't do that, you will land in trouble. The other one says, nothing will happen, चलो करके देखते. क्या हो गया? Opposites. Good, bad. Conclusion क्या है? घर पहुँचने के बाद क्या होती है? एकदम solid कुटाई होती है, right ना? क्या है? Without understanding the opposite. It is very difficult for the human mind. It cannot understand the true nature of that event. What are the consequences of it? And that is why we say it is very difficult for the mind to understand the opposite, whether it's good, bad, right, wrong, true, false. That is basically called as dialectics. Dialectics means happening of an event which can be divided into two opposites, right? Human nature cannot understand. And without understanding the opposites, good, bad, right, wrong, many a time he land in trouble. Okay, and this particular definition is basically termed as dialectics. ठीक है? जब ये बंदे ने शुरू किया था, when this person started with the concept of dialectics, when he started the theory, बंदे ने जो बोला कि यार ये theory है, चलो, it was called as thesis. Slowly, he started adding more to it. He started using opposite. This theory, he called it as, this particular theory, he called it as antithesis. And after a lot of discussions and deliberations, he called it as a synthesis. And this is nothing but the formation of the sentences, the formation of the theory, which was professed by George William Hegel. The next European scholar is Leopold von Ranke. Okay, again I repeat, it's Leopold von Ranke. Okay, this particular person, he started in the 19th century. Okay, 19th century, this person had contributed a lot in the field of modern historiography. Again, his theory is completely different from that of the previous scholars whom we have studied. Okay? He spoke about the critical method of historical research method. He critically saying जो method use किया था, that was not right. He critical method, मतलब हर एक चीज को बारीकी से देखता था, बोलते यार ये ऐसा नहीं है, ऐसा होना है. That is called as a critical method. He emphasized means he stressed on the importance of information. He said we should only rely on original documents. If I have the original documents in my hand, fantastic, nothing like that. He said you always should rely, you should have more faith towards the original documents. Okay? He said all the documents related to historical events, you should examine with greatest care. Why greatest care? Why he has used the word greatest care? The reason is basically it is very difficult for you to make out which are the original documents and which are not the original documents. And if you need to reach the historical truth, possible to reach, you cannot have cut to cut every time, but you want to, out of 10 you want to have a score about 9.5. For that you need to examine the documents with lot of care. He criticized imaginative narration of history. He was dead against his, उसका ये कहना था कि हिस्ट्री इमेजिन नरेशन नहीं कर सकते, ये हो गया वो हो गया. नो, you cannot have imagination, you cannot have it a narrative style unless and until you do not examine the original documents. And this was the theory which was professed by Leopold von Ranke. Again I'll just give I'll explain the theory. Leopold von Ranke was basically, he was in the 19th century, okay, he was and historiography of the 19th century, okay, and he was a person who has professed a completely different theory from that of what we have studied, the previous scholars. He brought 5 points he took into consideration. The first is critical method of historical research. जो historical research method use किया जाता था, he was completely against it. He did not approve of it. ठीक है. Second thing he emphasized means he felt it कि नहीं यार, stern था वो बंदा कि नहीं उसी के ऊपर. He believed, he had put a lot of importance that history should be gathered only through the original documents. So you cannot, if you don't have an original documents with you pertaining to an historical event, then you cannot conduct research. Okay. He also said that all the things associated with an historical event, anything, it can be any historical event, whatever things you have, documents you have, you need to examine it with greatest care. With lot of care, you need to examine it. Okay, you need to examine it carefully. Why you need to examine it? Because it's possible to reach the historical truth. He said it's possible. He's not very sure, but he thinks it is possible to reach. Out of 10, grading system 10, 9.5 I will say, yeah. Till that is possible, and that is why he said it's possible to reach the historical truth. He criticized imaginative narration of history. Oh God, he was dead against. He really hated it. He really criticized that history cannot be in an imaginative and in the form of a story, because when you cannot do that. That is what he professed. And he wrote 2 books, The Theory and Practice of History and The Secret of World History. These are the 2 books which was written by Leopold von Ranke. The next person which we are going to study is Karl Marx. A communist philosopher, simple words, okay. Karl Marx, unlike the historians which we had studied, right from René Descartes. First we studied René Descartes, second was Voltaire, third was William Hegel, fourth was Leopold von Ranke, and fifth is basically Karl Marx. His concept was theory is completely opposite to what the other European scholars had specified. Okay? He came into later half of the 19th century. So in the first half of the 19th century, this person was not anywhere. In the later half, in the second part of the 19th century, this person gained a lot of importance. Okay? He was a German philosopher. Okay, he was a German philosopher. Now he believed that history is not about abstract ideas. He said he was like the preceders, those who had given the theory. They all believed in past. History is about past, about the dead. He did not believe that. He saying history is about the living people. Okay, right now I'm talking about the people. मुर्दों को गाड़ के निकाल के आप कुछ नहीं कर सकते. That is damage is done. He was of the view that what he professed, the theory was it is about the living people. Human relationships are based on the fundamental needs of people. हम ये जो सेंटेंस कार्ल मार्क्स ने कहा है कि ह्यूमन रिलेशनशिप्स आर बेस्ड ऑन द फंडामेंटल नीड्स ऑफ पीपल, दैट हम भी करते हैं ना. घर में पापा से कुछ काम करवाना है या पैसे लेना है, पॉकेट मनी लेना है, तो क्या करते हैं हम लोग, मॉर्निंग जल्दी उठते हैं, नहा धो के पढ़ने बैठ जाते हैं, राइट? वी नो ना, अकॉर्डिंग टू द अकॉर्डिंग टू द नीड अपना रिलेशन भी चेंज होता है, किससे कैसे काम करवाना है, वी वेरी वेल नो इट. ओके, now here he says the needs of the people, the ownership and the nature. Okay, the owner and the nature, it completely changed. So if I want something to be done for my big brother, तो I will go behind him and I'll requesting, भाई मैं तुम्हारा ये काम कर देता हूँ, ये कर देता हूँ, right? हम क्या करते हैं, हमको मालूम है कि वो ही owns a vehicle and today I want the vehicle, I need to go out with my friends, I need the vehicle because he is the owner of the vehicle. ठीक है, हम क्या करते हैं, अपनी सहूलियत से के हिसाब से, अपने नीड के हिसाब से हम रिलेशंस को, अब हम नीड के हिसाब से हम रिलेशंस को तोलते हैं घर पे. ठीक है. नाउ he says accessibility. Accessibility means what? The strata of society not be equal, that is in okay, as everybody will not be an owner, everybody will not possess everything in life, means strata of society. There are different sections in the society and these sections are not be equal, they are not at all equal. When they are not equal, it gives rise to inequality, and when it gives rise to inequality, it leads to division in the society, and this division in the society leads to classes, and this classes is termed as class struggle. Again, I'll see once more, I'll explain this particular sentence. Accessibility means I get it. अगर मेरे पास है तो fantastic, मेरे पास नहीं है तो नहीं है, उसको हम बोलते हैं accessibility. Accessibility means strata of society. Every section of society will not get everything, right? Every person in the society, maybe you are in a higher class, middle class, lower, everybody will not get everything in the society. ठीक है, जब सबको एक जैसी चीजें नहीं मिलती तो automatically the society will not be equal. ठीक है, not be equal, simple words, I'll call it as inequality. जब सोसाइटी में इनइक्वालिटी होता है, ऑटोमेटिकली इट गिव्स राइज टू डिविजन. डिविजन इन द सोसाइटी means what? Oh, you belong to a high class, you belong to a low class, you belong to a middle class. This is called as classes, and this classes leads to what? Class struggle. Okay, now here he says class struggle is only between two people, only between two, that is have and the have not. What is have? Have in simple words are the owners of the company, and have not is the people who do not have anything. Best example is owners. So have not is basically the class which does not own money, those who don't have ownership, right? They work for somebody, they are have not. Simple words, they are the workers. And have is basically the people who possess everything, ownership. I have a factory, I have machinery, I have manpower, I have money, that is have class. Okay, haves are, I put a statement down, haves are the people who earns the means of production. As I said, 3M, I haven't put it, you will have to listen to me. 3M, money, manpower and machinery. And have not who do not have the 3M, money नहीं है, machinery नहीं है, manpower नहीं है, and that is what is called as have and have nots. Okay, once more, Karl Marx theory is completely different from that of the previous scholars. Okay, the previous scholars, they stressed on the past events. Okay, like the people are no more, they picked that factor into consideration and they explained the theory. Karl Marx, he came into the picture in the second half, not in the beginning of the first half of the 19th century. In the second half of the 19th century, he was a German philosopher. Okay? He said history is not abstract ideas. He was not worried about the past is past, the dead is dead. People are there already in the graveyard, need not pull them out. He said, I want to talk about the living people right now, the people who are living, who are very much alive in the society. I need to talk about those people. He said human relations are completely based on the fundamental needs of people. हम relations कैसे बनाते हैं? अपने need के हिसाब से. पापा से कुछ काम करवाना है तो हमको मालूम है क्या करना है. भैया से कुछ काम करवाना है तो हम लोग उसके हिसाब से काम कराते हैं, हम काम कर लेते हैं. Okay, because I need something from my brother, I need something from my father. Here ownership and the nature. So I want something from them and for that I know कि हाँ ये करने से पापा खुश हो जाएंगे और मुझे मूवी जाने के लिए परमिशन देंगे. So I know that. Accessibility to have, okay, in the different strata I mean different sections of society. Everybody will not have everything in the society, so obviously the society will not be equal. जब society equal नहीं होता है तो it gives rise to what? inequality. जब inequality होता है तो obviously the society is divided in division हो जाता है, ठीक है. जब society division होता है तो it gives rise to what? It gives rise to classes, and classes gives rise to a concept called as class struggle. Now what is class struggle? Class struggle is nothing between, it is just between have and the have-nots. Like the best example, if I say Karl Marx philosophy can associate with the trade unions in the company. Perfect. Trade unions. Okay, the workers are basically the have-not class, and the owners of the company are basically the have class. Okay, that leads always there is a conflict or a fight between the have-nots and the have. That is between the workers and the owners. That is basically termed as class struggle. Okay, what are haves? Haves are people who owns the three means of production: money, machinery, and manpower. And have-nots who do not have money, उसके पास पैसा नहीं है, machinery नहीं है, manpower नहीं है, they are basically termed as have-nots. They don't have anything. And he wrote a book called as Das Kapital. So he wrote a book called as Das Kapital, and his concept was completely different from that of the theory professed by the other European scholars. Okay, so new concept, a completely new concept. What is analyst school? Okay, this concept of analyst school was started on the onset of 20th century. Okay, in the just beginning of the 20th century, this new concept came into existence. Okay, it basically started in a country called as, France. Okay, it basically existed or started in France. It gave a new direction to history writing. ठीक है, what do you mean by new direction? ठीक है, लोगों का एक बिलीफ था, एक मिसकंसेप्शन था कि हिस्ट्री इज ओनली अबाउट वॉर, पॉलिटिकल असैसिनेशन, बियॉन्ड दैट नथिंग. तो लोगों का एक बिलीफ था कि नहीं, हिस्ट्री में क्या होता है, या तो डेथ होती है या तो किसी की असैसिनेशन होती है, एंड ऑफ इट दैट इज हिस्ट्री. बट एनालिस्ट स्कूल प्रूव्ड to the world or showed the world that history is not about political war. It is about diplomacy, trade, agriculture, economy. This all put together is basically termed as history. So history is not only about wars. It is not about assassination of kings, assassination of ministers or ambassadors. It is a combination of everything, that is economy, trade, agriculture. This put together is basically termed as history. And it was written by French historian. This concept was started by French historians. So even if it comes for web map and definition, you will be able to write this. It started at the onset. Onset means beginning of the 20th century. It started in France. It completely gave a new direction to history writing. That is, history is not about war. It is not only about war, political assassination, but it is much beyond that. It is trade. It consists of trade, economy, agriculture, and it was started by French historians. Okay, next, a completely new concept, feminist historiography. Now, what do you mean by feminist historiography? Now, whatever scholars we have seen in the previous, right from the first René Descartes to Karl Marx, everybody wrote it from their point of view. ठीक है, मुझे क्या समझ में आया, मैंने लिख दिया. Feminist means you're writing history from the perspective of the woman. ठीक है, this completely writing it from the point of view of a woman. That is called as feminist historiography. They said history should not always be written from the point of view of men. It should be also written from the point of view of woman. Okay, ठीक है. And this concept was started by Simone de Beauvoir. Okay, she was basically a French. Okay, she says, it is not that history cannot be only male dominated. History can also be in the form of woman. Okay, woman also is a part of history. There has been battles where many females were in the forefront, right? So history doesn't mean it is always male dominated, but it includes women also. Okay? It focuses on various aspects of woman, like employment life, the employment, family life, role in trade union, etc. Now let me explain this. Now, if you talk about Rani Lakshmi Bai, if you see, if a man writes it, he writes it he just write it in few lines. Ki, oh, she was a queen who fought for her people, who had her child tied to the back and went onto the battlefield, taking her child along. Fine. It was from the male perspective point of view. But if a female writes about Rani Lakshmibai, she will look into every aspect, like what difficulties she faced, that she lost her mother at a very young age. She used to learn to do household work. She gets married into completely a new house. Her husband passes away, her child passes away, but she doesn't lose hope. She looks after the kingdom. She looks after the adopted child. So many difficulties she has to face, right? This difficulties will be mentioned only when when a woman writes it. When a man or a male writes it, he will not write the small detailed aspects of the same, and that is what it is specified here. Various aspects of woman's life at every stage. She faces different struggle, she faces different obstacle, and only when a woman writes history, she will be able to explain it in detail, in precise. After 1990, woman portrayed an independent class. She started being recognized as an independent class. She started gaining more respect, and people started accepting her that she has an identity of her own. And last is basically, even in society, she started gaining respect. That is none other than feminist historiography. So completely restructuring means I write the history from the perspective of woman. It was started by Simone de Beauvoir. She was basically a French. She said every aspect of the woman should be included in history, right? Every time you cannot write history from the point of view of male. You have to write each and every aspect of your life, like her life, like employment, family, role in trade union. And after 1990, she was given an independent status, and in society people started respecting her. The last one to go is Michael Foucault. Michael Foucault is a quite, not much outdated scholar, like 17th century. He is a 20th century European scholar. Now he had his own theory. He has explained that arranging of historical events, chronological events is not right. He said history should not be arranged in an order. जैसा event हुआ है वैसे पहले कुछ और event हुआ है तो उसको put that, and then after that something. So he did not stress that history cannot be written in a chronological event. It's not right. He completely disagreed with the fact that history should never be written in chronological events. He's saying archaeology does not. He's saying archaeology क्या है? Building. आप कुछ ढूंढो, excavation sites. He's saying that will not give you the ultimate truth. You picked up some stone, you found some house, and then you can't arrive at a conclusion. I think archaeology will also not give you the ultimate truth. He says historical truth क्या करता है मालूम है? Explains various transitions in the past. Transitions in the past mean the change. Like your forefather, he used to never own a two-wheeler, right? Maybe he may not even have electricity at home. But then there's a transition when dad started having a two-wheeler, dad started using mobile. So what is that? That is basically the transition. Simple word, I call it as the change which you see from the past to the present. He says explaining transition in history is more important. He says explaining the different changes in history from the ancient time to the medieval and to the present, that is the modern time, that is more important rather than arranging the things in a chronological order and trying to find out the truth by digging out things from the earth. He says always historical truth should be in the form of a transition from the past to the present, from the present to the future. Simple words, ancient, medieval, and your modern. He's saying that is more important. That is much more important, more than anything else. He wrote a book called as Archaeology of Knowledge. Archaeology of Knowledge is the only book which was written by him. And most of the Foucault historians, okay, he also worked as acknowledged by areas, okay. He also worked in the field of science of medicines. He also worked in the field of prison administration for convicts, okay. The convicts who were put in prison, he used to work for them. And also he contributed a lot in the field of psychological disorders also. So in the prisoners there used to be in prisoners who used to have psychological disorders, who he started working for them. He also contributed a lot in the field of prison administration, how to look after the administration of the prison, how to divide the convicts. And he also ensured that the convicts are properly treated. He used to conduct sessions for them, and that is why he's in the 20th century, this person has a lot of respect. People hold him in very high esteem. Okay, this chapter is done. Thank you so much, children. Thank you for watching the video. Happy learning.